Hey everybody, I want to welcome you guys back. Went ahead and set some stuff up in the room real quick. Had a few viewer requests we're going to address over the next couple of videos. The first one that we're doing today, I had a viewer request a short leg cast, fiberglass cast. They wanted to see it, which we have videos of in the previous videos. There's short leg cast in a lot of the videos, how to make them, how to cut them off. But this particular person asked for us to perform a short leg cast and also to bivalve that cast and do everything all in one video, so you can see how the whole process would work with the application of the cast, the splitting of the cast, the placing of the spacers in the cast, which there's also another video about how to use spacers. But we'll do all that all in one big setting here. It's going to get everything started in just a sec. All right, you guys, like I said a second ago, you guys have seen me numerous other videos. You guys have seen me make short leg casts. So what we're going to go ahead and do is, as I'm putting this cast on, we're going to time lapse it so we don't waste a lot of time showing you guys stuff you've seen in the other videos. I'm going to go ahead and get started, and we'll move on from there. We'll slow it down once we get to the part where we're bivalving and we're doing all that stuff. And here we go.
Sorry.
Okay, you guys, so as you guys see, I went through that real quick, how we do the padding. Again, basic stuff, overlapping halfway every time. I went ahead and put the extra layers around the heel. I'm going to go ahead and start applying the fiberglass. I will fold the stockinette over once the fiberglass is on, and then we'll take a little break after the fiberglass is on, and we'll talk about that for a few seconds, and we'll move on into bivalving the cast. Okay, you guys, so that is a very, very quick revisit to applying a short leg fiberglass cast. Stockinette, padding, fiberglass. We're going to let this set up for about 5 to 10 minutes and let it also start to cool down a little bit from the exothermic reaction. I'm going to grab the cast saw, and then the next step in the video is I'm going to show you how we bivalve it and then how we spread it to allow for swelling post-op. So we'll come back to that in just a sec. All right, you guys, so we're going to go ahead and bivalve the cast. So we're going to assume with this patient that this is a post-op, or this is a cast, and we're going into the post-op proceeding. So of course, anything post-op, we're going to go ahead and bivalve the cast to allow for swelling after the procedure. There are two primary ways to split the cast and to keep it separated for swelling. One is the use of the spacers that I showed you earlier, and there's a couple different versions of spacers out there. And then some surgeons will, in the gap that they're going to make with the cast saw, they'll put cotton in the gap instead, and then they'll seal up either whether it's the cotton or it's the spacers. They'll seal it up with a lot of the time they'll seal it up with Coban. Sometimes you'll see them seal it up with ace wraps. Either way is totally acceptable. We'll go ahead and get started now. So here we go. Using the typical in and out method that by now we should all know after watching numerous videos, and I'm sure everybody having been well trained by this point in time, you use the in and out method. Most surgeons or surgical techs or ortho techs will bivalve the cast laterally immediately. There are some providers that will univalve instead of bivalve, and if they univalve the cast, sometimes you'll see that posteriorly in the back of a cast or in the back of an arm cast. So again, that's, there's variations. This isn't completely written in stone. I'll go ahead and turn this way, and you use your spreaders. And what you're going to do, you don't want to completely separate the cast you just made, but we're going to go ahead and just open it up a little bit, just like so. Not entirely, just enough to get a little spacer in there. These particular spacers that I'm showing for this video have 4 different positions. I'll show you those positions right here. They can go like this, parallel to the separation, or you can turn them so that you get a little bit more of a gap in there. And the same is true for the opposite side. You can start them to where they're parallel. Let me get the spreaders. Depending on how much space you want in there, you can put them parallel or you can put them perpendicular. And again, you see when it's on the largest setting, you have quite a bit of gap in there, quite a bit of gap. So again, this is going to be the surgeon's call. And typically what you'll see when you see these come into the clinic a week to 10 days after, so that you can remove the spacers and seal up the cast, typically what you'll see something to this effect or this effect usually. And depending on the length of the cast, it's usually one spreader about every 10 inches to a foot, give or take. And hang on one sec. That's okay, I'll pick that up in a sec. So we'll put one here, and usually one down by the foot. And again, I'll do the same thing on both sides, so there'll be spreaders on both sides. Once you have, it'll be a total of 6 spreaders. Then what you're going to do, I think my patient's doing that on purpose. So I think what we'll do here is we'll keep that guy there. And let's say we have 3 on the medial side, 3 on the lateral side. In this particular case, we're going to go ahead and lock those in with some Coban, and we'll wrap it around like so. And again, this is going to be totally non-weight bearing. There's no way to weight bear on a cast that's been bivalved. It's just not safe, and it's not recommended. So that's what it would typically look like coming back to you. Some of the providers will wrap the entire thing with Coban. Again, and I'll show you, I'll do a real quick demo here real quick, just before we end the video. Get this off of here. You know what? Let's use the old scissors. So check this out. Sometimes what you'll see is if they don't have spacers readily available, or if they're in a bind and they're just trying to wrap things up, and for whatever reason their cast cart or whatever in the OR wasn't stocked, they'll take some of their leftover cotton, and sometimes you'll see this. Sometimes you'll see something like this. In place of a spreader or a spacer, excuse me, you'll see something like this. And I have worked with some surgeons that they really prefer this method instead. And then when they come back, and again, it'll be all wrapped up with Coban underneath. And so when they come into the clinic, all you'll see, the whole thing will be wrapped in Coban, and all you'll see is this little piece sticking out. So then, of course, you'll cut your Coban with your bandage scissors. You'll peel this out, and then, of course, the surgeon will be like, go ahead and overwrap it, and you seal it shut, overwrap it, and send them on their way for the next 2 to 3 weeks or whatever until it's time to remove the whole thing. Of course, when they come back to finally get the entire product removed, you're going to follow that split line. So therefore, when you're cutting with the cast saw, you're not having to penetrate all of this all over again, and the overwrap fiberglass. All you're going to penetrate is what you overwrapped, whatever color. Let's say they picked red. So when they come back in 2 to 3 weeks, 4 weeks, all you're doing is penetrating the red because you've already done the first half of your job. And that's it. So for the viewer that asked, that is the application of the short leg cast, the entire procedure of how to bivalve, and again how to apply either spacers or cotton web roll in there to create that little bit of a gap you need to eliminate problems with swelling post-surgical. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. The next 1 or 2 videos after this will also be viewer request videos. The next one we're going to work on will be, I've been asked by a surgeon, a pediatric orthopedic surgeon, to do a PTB cast on a video. So I'm going to be working on that next for you guys. So look forward to that, and have a good day, everybody.